That
For
is,
Tesla this week, guys, it's Tesla's has a big event coming up this week, and that's all going to be about 1010, which is the main thing this week. If you look at what's happening, it's going to be the Robotaxi event that was postponed from 0808. So this year, Tesla wanted to unveil their 0808 event, which was their Robotaxi event. It got delayed to 1010, which is this coming Thursday. We think this is going to be a monumental change for Tesla in many different ways. Matthew, let's get into it.
yeah, for sure. Where are we here? So we are going to talk about, this this is our kind of theme of the week, guys. Generally speaking, like what's been the theme so far is interest rates, interest rates, and interest rates. And it was the theme when interest rates were going up. It's a theme when interest rates were up, and we had to kind of wait for them to go down. And now again that they are the theme going down on the way down. So it's always been kind of that focus. But I will say that this week is all about Tesla. We're seeing that we're seeing that actually in multiple fronts, I think. We do know that Tesla is an AI company. We do know, like, obviously it has certain dependencies on the chip sector. And we see volatility in the chip sector, and that could be due to a Tesla event. It also could be due to earnings over the course of the next month or so, right? So a lot of things happening there. So Omar's going to talk about the Robotaxi event that's going to happen. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Thursday, yeah, Thursday, yeah. So yeah, tomorrow, Matthew. Tomorrow,
Or 7
after
o'clock.
close tomorrow, it's the Robotaxi event, and Robotaxi is going to be a big, big unveil for Tesla as a company. Like the company the fund may sell off as a result of it, but the main thing to note is
Well, the
simple.
stock may sell off as a result of it. The stock.
Right. It may
Yeah.
sell off as a result, right? The main thing to note is that this is the biggest transformational change in human history. If you have cars that drive around by themselves, which you may have in the near future, it becomes a big, big deal, right? So that's what this event is about. It's about unveiling that Robotaxi event. So imagine just in a hypothetical world, you go in front of your house and you're waiting a ride to the grocery store or wherever it may be. Instead of a human driver coming, there is no driver coming whatsoever. It is going to be a robo taxi driver, and that's what the event is about. The event is about having someone show up to your house to do it, to take you somewhere else, but no one in the car whatsoever. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. But I think it may be a sell on the news event for Tesla, but we'll see.
Yeah. So I mean, guys, there's obviously a lot of technology that is going into producing this event, and we are assuming that this event is indeed about robotaxi, and there's
No, no,
been some.
we know it's about Robotaxi.
Well, there's been
It's
some rumors that it could be as like another low cost vehicle or something like that, but
yeah,
let's just go that it is a robotaxi event. So the
good
technology
point.
is one half.
Good
The
point,
other
Matthew.
half is the regulation in different jurisdictions,
You're right.
right? So and I think we all know that governments, even at the best of times, work slowly. But I do think that with the right amount of data and experience, I mean, like, I think cars are about due to drive themselves. God only knows planes do, cruise ships do, commercial ships do, right? They pretty much drive themselves 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Now, granted, there's not the same traffic, agreed, right? But this is, like, in terms of this transportation, this is actually not something new. Right now, does it have lots of bells and whistles? 100%. There's people returning. There's kids. There's bikes. There's lane changes. There's God knows what else. Right? Lots of complications. But I think this is a big step in the right direction. So let's move on here. So
Yeah.
again,
So guys, just going back to the whole cars driving by themselves event. You know, it's something that's very transformational in life. Um, cars have not driven around them by themselves like in forever. Like it's never happened in the history of humanity. Um, what we're looking at here is going to be so transformational that it could be absolutely groundbreaking here for Tesla. And what will happen is that all the analysts that are covering Tesla stock, which is where it trades, they'll have to rework their actual analyst models, and they'll have to rework what they think the stock will be worth a year from 2 years from now. Now, remember, we've talked about this a number of times. Tesla stock and any other stock is generally priced out about 12 months to 24 months, maybe 18 months ahead of time. So if the analysts don't feel that there's any tangible change in earnings in the next 18 months, there'll probably be no movement, right? None whatsoever. There'll be no movement in Tesla stock in the next 12 to 24 months if they do not believe there'll be any tangible change in earnings. However, all right, so that's one thing. If, for example, as Matthew was saying, that you unveil a new car altogether, which may be the Tesla Model 2, that may occur tomorrow. I don't think it will, but it may occur tomorrow. If a Tesla Model 2 car were to occur, a much cheaper vehicle, let's say the Model 3 is about 40,000 US. Let's say it comes out at 25,000 US. If that were to occur, then it changes the entire ball game of where Tesla is. Because what Tesla stock is currently trading at is what the company thinks it'll be worth 12 to 24 months out. Now, if 12 to 24 months out, Wall Street does not get the implication that there will be any meaningful change in earnings or revenue, it will not move the stock. But if they do get the feeling that there will be some sort of change in the next 12 to 24 months, it will change things dramatically. So let's see what happens. Matthew, back to you.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we all know the kind of the key factors here. So, industry catches up. Regulation catches up with the technology. I think this is a question of when, not if. But again, Elon is, he's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful pioneer, right? He's certainly doing things that this world needs.
None of us like the fact that he's getting involved in a lot of politics. Like I don't like
We
that.
don't like his punctuality. We don't like his involvement in politics. But at the same token, like, what are you supposed to do, right? I mean, yeah. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. Okay, so again, Tesla reviewed as an AI robotics company. He said that, and that trying to value it as an auto company is the wrong way to look at it. And I 100% agree. If you think Tesla produces cars, you should sell. I mean, I shouldn't say you should sell your stock, but I would sell my stock. If I thought Tesla was only a car company, I wouldn't own Tesla. That's my opinion. So yeah. But again, but guys, like, if you think this through, guys,
it's not why you're buying Tesla. You're buying Tesla not because it's a robotics company or not because it's a car company. You're buying Tesla because you think eventually it'll be a AI company. You think the cars will be driving around by themselves. And you also think that it is going to be a robotics and an AI company together, which means when the convergence of those two happen, it becomes groundbreaking and monumental. That's why Tesla is trading at 70 times forward earnings, as opposed to, General Motors, which is trading at 10 times forward earnings. The main reason is because you think that Tesla, and we think that Tesla is going to be trading at a valuation which is worthy of what it is doing. And that main thing in the short term is going to be this Robotaxi event. So this Robotaxi event, guys, is going to be huge. It all depends on what it's going to come out to. And beyond Robotaxis, if they have another car event, like Matthew was saying, a like a 2.0 Model 3, if they have that, that's great. If they don't have that, that's fine. But if they do have that, which I don't think they will, and I don't think that they're going to have anything more than Robotaxi 2.0. I think it's just going to be Robotaxi 2.0. And I don't think it's going to be like, we're interested in the car. If they do introduce them in the car, though, however, it could be really, really groundbreaking.
Yeah, and we don't know this. We don't really know. I mean, it's saying it's a Robotaxi event, so it's billed as such. Let's just see what happens there, guys.
Yeah.
It might be awfully interesting to see that. Hey, there's no steering wheel. It begs the question: do you need a license to get
It will
into
not
one
be
of
a
these
single.
things? Like, yeah, well, yeah. Harman is saying hopefully no demo fails tomorrow. I'm hoping this one lives up to the hype. Maybe a sneak peek at Optimus 2. Yeah, absolutely, and that could all be part of the kind of quote unquote robo part of Robotaxi.
Yeah, could be.
It might be that here's the thing, guys. Like Optimus is quite a ways out in time than a Robotaxi. We've been hearing about Robotaxi for I'd say years now, right? Optimus, I think we've been hearing about Optimus for less time. But my understanding is that if I want to have a fleet of Optimuses in my house, there's no bylaw or traffic code that I'm breaking. If I want to be living with Robocop, I can live with Robocop if I want, right?
Yeah, no,
So
you're right there, Matthew. In terms of regulation,
yeah,
uh, Optimus will be much further along than Robotaxi, because Robotaxi involves public safety, and public safety is an issue, right? So if you were to go to a drive in Robotaxi, well, it has to make sure it's cleared. It's what if it runs over some poor kid who's crossing the street? You have a problem in your hands.
like
But
what do you do with minors in the vehicle? Or like, you're going to send your 15-year-old or 14-year-old to school in the robo taxi unaccompanied? It's like,
yeah,
well, supposing that I'm sure it'll be foolhardy not to at least put an emergency stop button on the car.
no, that's fair. But the actual Robotaxi event itself, so Robotaxi will get unveiled probably quicker than the Optimus robot, only simply because of technology. But Matthew's 100% right. There's far less regulation involved in approving, someone who's working in your house, that's going to do your stuff for you, that's going to cook your breakfast, etc. That's going to be far less involved in terms of regulatory in engages, as opposed to Robotaxi. Robotaxi, so there already is Waymo, Cruise in San Francisco, LA, Chicago, Phoenix, but that does not necessarily mean that Robotaxi gets approved pretty quickly. It may take some time, and globally, obviously, the reach is, by the time it gets to Toronto, it's going to be a long, long time. So Robotaxi is still a ways away. But what the market is looking for is simple. The market is looking for, do I think in the next 12 months, can I price this into my model? Can I make a reasonable assumption that I think that this is going to increase earnings, revenue, etc.? If not in the next 12 months, can I increase the next 18 months? And if that happens, it's a whole different story. Let's keep going, Matthew.
Yeah, absolutely. So analysts, unique selling point may lie in the fact that without drivers, the cost of the transportation as a service may be lower than the current taxi. That's just the cost benefit analysis. Obviously, that's going to be the case. I mean, yeah, the economics behind not having a person there and it's electric, it's like there'll be tremendous cost savings. Like we know that there will be tremendous cost savings. Perhaps we don't know, the amount of cost savings that would be generated, but we do know that there'll be tremendous cost savings uh,
So from
because
what
of
I've
this
read,
kind
I
of
think it's
project.
about 70 cents a mile right now in USD,
Right.
uh, for a person who's driving a car with someone in it. What that would go down to is about 25 cents per cost per mile. So 25 cents versus 70 cents. That's a big difference. It's about less than one third. So imagine you had to go downtown Toronto. I live in Mississauga. If I had to go downtown Toronto, it would probably cost me about $45. If I could do it for $15, it's a whole different ball game, and no one's in the car, right? So that's the rough savings Right now, it works out to about 1/3 of the cost or slightly lower.
Yeah, and there's other applications, guys. There's parcel shipment and that type of thing, right? If you have one of these things sitting at your house, or you rent one of these things and say, okay, you know, take this binder and send it to Omar's house to look at. It's like, cool. I saved myself 30 minutes in driving back and forth, and this thing just
Yeah,
went back and forth and delivered the binder, right? Or deliver groceries to your parents' house. Okay, well, that's pretty easy. Like you can do that. So there's other applications here rather than just taking people, right? So
right.
and I'll be interested to see, guys, that when this comes out, like the next day, what does Uber stock performance do versus Robotaxi, right? Versus Tesla. Like I wonder if there'll be some kind of offsetting price change between
I
Tesla
think
and
Matthew,
Uber.
Uber's going to be in pretty big trouble right now for the very near future. Uber may partner with Tesla,
Uber may
but
buy a whole bunch of these robotaxis.
yeah, exactly. For the near term,
Yeah,
they might buy a whole lot of these taxis in the near term. However, long term, Uber's in big trouble.
yeah. Although they are the best, they are by far and away, in my point, the leader in this segment. But who knows how long the segment will be around for? But again, we get the guys, like any of these points. Listen, we're all near and dear to Tesla. We know we like it. And the reason being is because, hey, it produces some volatility. It's an exciting industry. Doesn't mean it can't go up or down, right? And to
Yep.
me, at the end of the day, this is one more data point that we are going to be looking at and say, hey, is this and the more I look at this, and the more I look at these data points, is it going to be a check mark or is it going to be an X? I'm hoping it's going to be a check mark. The fund is long Tesla. Absolutely, it has a long bias to Tesla, as you see literally on this page, right? And yeah, I'd like to see tomorrow's the conclusion of tomorrow's event being a big nice green check mark, right? But we will see what happens tomorrow. And but but my biggest reservation about Tesla is not about the industry, and it's not even really about the regulation. It's really about the volatility of its CEO, right? That's my biggest concern
Yeah.
here,
You and I
right?
talked about it.
Yeah, it's my biggest concern here. Like,
Yeah.
for God's sakes, my friend, please just build electric cars and take us to Mars. That's it, buddy. Like, don't do anything else. But
Yeah.
anyways,
I would agree.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
so
that's one of the biggest things about Tesla right now is the volatility of the CEO, right? So when you talked about macroeconomics and doing your fundamental analysis on the company, you have to take a look at a lot of things. And in this particular situation, which we normally don't have a problem with, is that you have to take a look at Elon's behavior. Elon coming on to, and again, it doesn't matter if you're left side of the spectrum or the right side of the spectrum, it doesn't matter. Elon coming on to an event with Donald Trump over the weekend and getting more and more involved with politics is problematic. You don't know where this is going to lead. All we want, as Matthew said, is we want to build electric cars and do your thing. You don't want him doing these things, right? You don't want him going to a platform in Pittsburgh that's going to potentially endanger his life. One, right? That's a very distinct possibility.
no,
And
he's Darth Mega. He'll be fine.
yeah, he's
Darth
Darth.
Mega.
I'm not sure what Darth Mega means,
You
but
know what, Mike? Oh, you don't know Darth? Okay, Darth Vader was a Jedi, and he
okay.
turned to be a Sith,
You
but
know
he's
how
a
much
very
I know about
powerful Jedi.
Star
So
Wars,
even if he
right?
gets shot at, he'll deflect the bullet with like the finger.
Of course he will.
You
But
need
in
to
real
watch
life,
Star Wars. You need to watch Star Wars.
right? In real life, he probably won't, right? So
He
in real
realize
life,
well.
right? In real life, there's a distinct possibility that he may get harmed. And for us, having 14% of our portfolio in there is a problem, or potentially could be a problem. You don't know if he's going to get harmed, not harmed. It doesn't, you just don't know. What you do know is this: that Robotaxi is going to be real, that Optimus is going to be real, but you don't know in the short term if something were to happen to Elon because of his ever involving situation with politics. It could really change things for us. But right now, we're happy to have the exposure that we have. We believe that electric vehicles will be more and more on the rise. But it's something that you have to take into account. So as Matthew was saying, we really wish he was not involved in politics, but he is. And you get the good and the bad with Elon. You cannot avoid that. However, in the meantime, we want to make sure that the company is fundamentally sound, which it is. It's making a lot of money. It's developing new products. It's going forward. But we really want to make sure that that this doesn't happen. But again, there's nothing we can do about it. I guess Matthew, the best thing to say for us would be that we're cautiously optimistic about our position in Tesla. I love
Yeah,
Tesla,
absolutely.
yeah, more than any other company because of the upside potential and the various technologies they have. However, Elon being more and more involved in these type of activities does create a problem.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to the actual fund, guys. Here, this is as of October 4th, 2024. So this last week, we're pretty much, Google. We're kind of just a little bit of desired exposure. We are looking and carefully monitoring the lawsuit there. I think it's still early days.
Matthew, why don't we talk a little about lawsuit there?
Sure, like they're being basically accused of having a monopoly. And
in Europe
we've seen,
specifically, right?
yeah, but we've seen this before. We saw this with Microsoft many years ago, and this stuff does happen. I don't anticipate a conclusion to this anytime soon. So I'm basically myself, Omar and Danielle, we're all just kind of monitoring this carefully. And just but we are ready to kind of act. But we're happy with the desired exposure, not too much, not too little. Amazon here, we're looking to get a little bit more, but again, at the right price. There's been a nice little run up as of late. But with there again, going on to Apple, we obviously had a cell phone announcement.
Just to go down to the nitty gritty here. The main thing we're underexposed on is going to be we're a little exposed on Bitcoin. We want to get more Bitcoin exposure through our ETF. However, that may be a ways off. We'd like to buy it at a bit of a low point. Bitcoin has been hovering around 65,000, 63,000 USD per coin for quite some time. So we're looking to get more exposure to Bitcoin, and we are looking to exit Airbnb. So we've done well on Airbnb, but we're looking to to exit what altogether. So if you look at the exposure between Airbnb and Bitcoin, that's about 1.5% or so roughly. And that's really what we're looking to do. We're looking to exit our exit our Airbnb exposure through the writing of covered calls, which we are doing. And we have a very small position in Airbnb. But we would like to enter more of a position on on Bitcoin. We will have some option trading ability on Bitcoin soon. We don't know when, but in the near term, we should have some more exposure on Bitcoin. That represents about 1.5% of the portfolio.
What was the 1.5%? Bitcoin? Bitcoin's 4.1%.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the difference between Bitcoin at 4.1 and the exposure at 5.0 and Airbnb at 0.6.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's actually 1.5%. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
actually
it's about
1.5%.
1.7% altogether, right? So exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, guys, we're comfortable with these allocations here. We're monitoring and trading the portfolio almost daily, definitely monitoring daily, trading almost daily. So we're pretty happy from that perspective. Let us go to the next page here. Oops. Sorry, this thing's okay. One more. Okay. So we have this as of last week. We had some written puts, guys, and the reason being is because markets have been going up a lot, right? So we have to be very tactical in terms of what we're writing. We don't want to write when there's a huge up day, right? So we are waiting for days where we are getting the right return versus our risk. It's about 5.7% of the portfolio is written puts. So we're quite happy there. Longs are about 85%, guys. So we are mostly long, but we have room for puts, for additional puts if the market is to correct. The market is supposed to be correcting a good chunk last month, was supposed to, quote unquote, and is supposed to, quote unquote, this month as per seasonality. But again, that's not really guaranteed. But at the end of the day, we are going to hold some dry powder just in case we have an opportunity when things correct
Yeah.
a good chunk. So
Yeah, so Matthew, we collect some premiums on the upside if the market happens to tail off. It does, but we are definitely collecting some call premium because September and October are supposed to be the worst 2 months of the year. Generally speaking, we don't want to go more than 20% of the overall portfolio in covered calls, and that's kind of where we are right now.
right.
But if the market does happen to tail off and pull back, we really benefit from that 20% covered call premium. However, if the market happens to pull up a lot, which we don't know if it will, because it's been a bit unusual this September and October, we will benefit from it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's keep moving on here. So again, the fund details here. Yes, it's registered. It's eligible for RSP accounts and registered accounts, guys. Fees 2.5%. It is a high risk product because listen, we are in aggressive growth industries and there's an options overlay on it. And as safe as it is, we all know that stocks can go up and stocks can go down, and sometimes they go down in a hurry. So that's why it's termed as that, just to be on the safe side. We have to have a long-term investment horizon on this, because we have to weather the ups and the downs, right? And again, accredited investors, portfolio managers, and SMAs, all those are the accounts that you can kind of use this product in, right? If you have any, so what are we looking out for? So, we are looking out for the rest of October. It's supposed to be a little bit more volatile. We will see. There's volatility associated with the upcoming election. That seems to be a little bit obvious out there as well. During October, clicks over to the more favorable season, favorable half of the year. But that being said, if you look at this third bullet point here, S&P has gained about on average 1%, and Nasdaq has gained about 0.9% on average over the 50 years. So to me, that's saying this is a positive month, right? Maybe more
Yes.
volatile, maybe ups and downs, but where it starts, where it ends, it has generally been positive.
Yeah. So October is a month where you have lots of ups and downs. However, Matthew is correct. On average, it has gained. It has been a positive month, but there is the potential for a huge move up or a huge move down. But on average, it's been positive, and we have to take that into account.
Yeah. So going forward, I mean, yeah, we're definitely looking at rate cuts. Those really are the telltale sign of macroeconomic ongoings, guys. Most are in the States than in Canada. Canadians were more concerned about interest rate trajectory just because of the real estate perspective and maybe some variable rate loans that we may or may not be holding. But again, certainly a move in the US. 25 and 50 basis points have been kind of kind of what's out there right now.
Yep.
No one's really expecting a zero, like a no cut, no cuts, and no one's expecting an increase, right? So it is data dependent, but I personally think if it's a 25 or a 50 with the right kind of wording, that's going to be received favorably. And again, last but not least, guys, every 4 years we have this election, and God hope we have. I hope to God that there's actually a president on July the 8th, and that doesn't go on for another month or whatever while they're counting votes in God knows where. But regardless, that
If
does
that
add.
happens, there will be a cut in the market. If it's a election that is contested, there will be a sizable impact on the market. We don't know. We hope they're not. There's no cut so whatsoever, but you don't know. So on let's say for example November, I think 5th is the election, Matthew. 5th or 6th.
I think it's 7th, but anyways, it's leading up to it. It's the first week. I think it's the 7th actually. But
Okay,
listen,
so let's say, yeah, let's
sorry,
just say,
Harris supposed to be having a lead here, guys. But again, you really don't know until someone is declared a winner here, right?
yeah. So Matt Frum is saying the 5th on the election. Okay, so if you have a 5th
Okay.
election period of time, and you have a period after that which is contested, and you don't know who's won, who has not won, because they're recounting, and there are contestations in various states, especially the swing states. If that were to occur, the market will pull back, and you don't know if that will happen yet. If that does not happen, if it's a clear-cut advantage for one party or another, the market will probably do pretty well.
Yeah. So so we'll see what happens. Obviously, you need to monitor that, that is a uncertain event on our radar.
Yep.
All right, guys. So last but not least, David Jarvis sends his regrets as the portfolio manager on the fund at Quarton Capital. Myself and Omar are here as well. If you want any more information about the fund, so happy to help you guys here. Here's a disclaimer. Please read it. Harmon is saying fund is doing really well so far based on account returns. Thanks to the hard work. Yeah, so we can't really publicize because it's less than 1 year, guys. But if you do the math, yeah, we have done. Thankfully we have done not so bad in the recent past. And a product like this, guys, there's a rocky road at the beginning, guys. Absolutely, because there's lots of stuff. It's not as easy as just dumping money into your IB account and
Yep.
and pressing play, right? There's a lot of stuff that happens at the onset, and thankfully we hope that the fund is now kind of hitting its stride. So yeah, let's do what we do, and we thank you all for your support. And any questions about the fund, or if you're interested in investing, what have you, please give us a call if you haven't already. And if you have any friends or whatnot, please share this with him. This will be on our YouTube channel later this week. So again, thank you so much, Harminder. Thanks for the encouragement there, much appreciated. And we will see you at our next fund update. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. See you.